Hello everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Young Life. I apologize for not uploading in recent weeks. I have been going through a little something that we will be discussing today's video. To start off this video, I think I should go on and just start with my history and then go on to kind of the lessons or my thoughts on the topic in general of how to deal with breakups and heartbreak in general. Now, about 6-7 weeks ago, I had gotten out of a relationship that was almost 3 years long. And so it was a very serious relationship. We were hanging out every day, very dependent on one another. And I think that's one reason why it hurt more than maybe some high school relationships or some shorter relationships. It was an everyday thing, almost like marriage. One thing about our relationship that I think is key in why I feel the way I feel today is this was not the first time we had a longer breakup. Almost like 6 months into the relationship, there was like a 2-day breakup, nothing serious. I don't think it has any relevance in today's video. But a year ago, almost exactly, we had a breakup that was almost two months long. And that was very tough to me. That was a real, true heartbreak. Emotional throughout those whole 2 months without her, and it was really tough. A lot of deep thinking, a lot of missing, longing for this person, and I ended up messaging her 2 months after that happened, and things rekindled. But in that first breakup, a piece of me changed. I think your first breakup is the hardest one, and I think it changes. I don't know if it's everyone or all men. I can't speak for women, but for me specifically, and what I see from my friends, when you go through that first breakup, it kind of puts walls up a little bit, and I felt a little less emotional after that. I feel like I went through something that kind of hardened my walls. After that heartbreak, when I compare this breakup to last year's, it's with the same woman. I would say it's not even 20% of the pain. It probably is roughly 20%. At this moment, I wouldn't say it's even heartbreak. It's longing for the person still, but I'm not going through daily pain like I did last time. And I think it's a lesson learned, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, and I'm trying not to get that shame. Is this something that's a mindset that will last? I believe so, because I felt this way almost, not exactly, but almost right after this most recent breakup. I think once you also realize that it's almost a silly relationship, and I don't like calling it that, but to keep going on and off and on and off, that's not serious. And so don't even spend mental energy on that, because it's clearly not weighed as much to this person than it is to me. And what's the point of spending time on something that you can't really control, right? On to kind of lessons I take from these breakups. For one, I think as you get older, the mental switch that really changes you from a boy to a man is going through some sort of pain and having to deal with it by yourself. Some people may lose family members, and that's terrible. That's a terrible way to deal with it, and that's a lot worse than going through heartbreak. Fortunately, that's not happened to me. Touch wood. But I think for a lot of people as well, heartbreak is that first suffrage. And that's an important word, suffrage, because you really do suffer. You're not in physical pain, but it feels like you are. You just can't help it. And once as a boy you really go through that, you kind of learn about the world. You have to shape your reality, and if heartbreak is in your reality, that's how you're going to feel. If you change your mindset so you don't have to feel that heartbreak again, you'll never feel like that, and you start to learn, hey, maybe you aren't going to get this lovey-dovey ever again, but you are also never going to feel this crushing. And that's not true too. Of course you find love again, but it may be to a different it's adult love, right? Everyone says their first love is different, and that's because you learn from that. You don't be as dependent. You don't put your all out like you did for that first person, and you might get close to it, but that's how I'm thinking right now. Um, Something I see a lot on social media, something I see a lot with friends of mine who are not as true to themselves, not in the sense that they don't represent who they are to other people, but in the sense that they don't want to face their reality. Instead of saying, this is over, it's over mutually, or it was this fault because of this, they put all the blame on the other gender. Women do this and men do this, but I'm going to go on what men do that makes them look bad and makes them show their true colors, and you shouldn't think like this. And what I'm talking about is, as a man, or a so-called man, you shouldn't go through a breakup and be in pain and start going, never trust women. Women are the worst. Women have no emotions, you know? They're blood-sucking. It's not true, but I see people say these things, you know? Don't trust women. Women sleep around, and that's putting it nicely. This is what people are saying, you know? Don't demean women as a whole, because that's something you're guaranteed to regret. If you have problems with this specific individual, with reason, then you can state that to other people. You know, let out why you feel this way. But don't blame it on all women. You know, there's plenty different kinds of women. And don't push your hatred towards that. Rather, if you need to push hatred, push it to that one person, not directly. You don't want to, you know, cause problems, but in your head you can push it towards that person. Don't push it to the whole gender, because many boys do that. Keyword boys. And it doesn't look good. It's not good for your mentality, because realistically, relationships, even platonic ones with women, are very useful. You know, you can have more emotional conversations with women. You also have different kinds of conversations. It doesn't have, you can talk emotional with your guy friends too, but it's just different types of conversations. In terms of how I deal or try to deal with heartbreak the first time, and how I deal with breakups this time as well, you have to put yourself in situations where you're going outside your comfort zone, so that you feel that feeling of succeeding, of conquering things, right? And so this could be, get yourself a job, make money first, because a key thing that most men do right after is they'll put all their focus, all their time on getting more women. But it's counterintuitive, because if that's all you're doing, you come off as desperate. You're also going to put all of your thinking of success on you scoring with women. And so days where you don't have any experiences with women, you're going to feel down. And that's not a good thing to put your dopamine in. You know, put it on something you can really control. You can't control if someone's really going to come hang out with you. You can't control everything in that scenario. But with your job, you can set goals with money. And that will give you that dopamine hit that will make you feel better. That will make you feel feelings of success. So one thing, get a job. Find a hobby. For me, I went straight to jiu-jitsu right after. You know, I love combat sports. I'd been meaning to join this jiu-jitsu class, but because we were hanging out every day, there was really no time for it. I'd rather be in a comfort zone with her than go do something that can progress me in life, both through lessons and physically. You know, I learned a new skill set. So I did that automatically. I joined a sport that I knew I would enjoy. And I've been doing that for over a month now. And it's great. Or almost a month, I should say. It's a good distraction, and you're building yourself. So with a job, you're building your money. With a hobby, you're building your skill set. Go out and meet new friends as well. For me, I'm in a situation where I don't have many friends at this moment. You know, people are busy. I haven't had anyone to really hang out with, but I'm putting myself out there with people from jiu-jitsu. I'm putting myself out there with apps and stuff, to where I'm still meeting people that have that social interaction, so I don't feel lonely 24/7. I still feel lonely. That's gonna happen. You know, you have to give it months and months for that to pass. But having that in your mind, knowing that, should make it easier. Don't think, oh, I need to go back because I feel this way. Leave it. Sit on it. Give it time. Again, like I said, suffrage. You have to go through the suffrage to better yourself, to thicken your walls, to make yourself stronger. If you give in, you're not going to get these benefits. You're just prolonging pain, and who needs to do that? Hang out with your friends as a distraction as well. If you keep social, most of the times, you're not going to be thinking of this person as much, and that goes for men and women. Something I've been doing, and not so that I could post it in this moment, but just to remember how my thought process changes over time, and to remember how I felt at different stages, is record how you feel right after. Record how you feel at different times after a breakup so you can see how it changes. And this recording can happen through writing in a journal or even through filming yourself. You don't need to post it. You see girls posting crying vids all the time to get views on TikTok or whatever. Sometimes guys do it. For both genders, I don't recommend you post that kind of content. It puts you in a light where you're almost like a victim and people feel bad for you, or like people come to take advantage of you in some ways. Don't put yourself out. Like, keep either a funny demeanor on social medias, keep a professional demeanor in social medias. Putting yourself out like that as a normal person. Celebrities do it, they get views, they get sympathy. When you're a normal person, you're posting that, it's silly in the long run, right? You're going to regret it. Most people. Some people, fine, if that makes you feel better, cool, but I would say for most people, you're going to regret posting a video of you crying or venting about some random thing that no one really cares about. But I do recommend you record it so you can look back and see how you change. Because if you look at how you slowly get better, it motivates you to keep on going. It shows you you're going to be fine sooner or later. And the last point I want to kind of finish on is, it's easy after a breakup to give into that impulse of, let me call them, let me text them, let me see what they're doing on socials. And I still, when it comes to the socials part, I still sometimes give in, and I know I shouldn't, and I know the days after, you're still thinking about it, but do not do the call, do not do the text. And this is if you know. You have to have reasons on why you don't go back, right? If you don't have a reason, if it's just, it was a silly breakup, and you don't have reasons why, you never had reasons, then this is different. But know your reasons. My reason, you can't break up twice and keep going back and forth. It's silly. My reason, I think both parties, her and I, need change. Not in terms of who we're with, but personality change. I think we kind of outgrew in ways. Our perspectives on certain things were opposing and conflicting a little bit at times by the end of it, and that happens sometimes. You can keep pushing through it. I always said when I was in a relationship, we're fighters, you know? And when you're in a relationship, you should have that mindset. Fight for it all, but you can't control what the other person does, so don't believe it too much, but also when you're in a relationship, you should believe it. You know, your perspective changes completely when you go from in relationship to out, but that's my thoughts on how to deal with breakups / heartbreaks. I hope it gave you some insight, and I hope I can watch this in the coming months to see how it's changed, and maybe I do an update on this video, see how this list of things I've written down, how true they were, how I have changed over those few months. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 5 of Young Life. I'm thinking of doing a video on what it's like to be a substitute teacher. I just started that career. But until then, hope you guys